9 years ago, hot off revealing Black Ops 3 Zombies, Treyarch teased what many believe to be the first look at a new ray gun wonder weapon. It was right behind studio head Mark Lamia here on this board. We have never been able to properly see it until the year 2024, where for the first time ever, now that NDAs and contracts have ran out, we got a full look at this board, and you'll be amazed to see what this ray gun Mark IV was actually supposed to be. This is going to be a story that if you were around at the time in 2015, you'll find very satisfying to finally have it explained. But if you weren't, but you're a diehard COD Zombies fan, then you are going to be amazed at what this ended up being. To cast your minds back to July 2015, where we just saw Shadows of Evil, and as part of an amazing charity competition with Omaze, Treyarch studio head reveals what really goes on behind the scenes at Treyarch's headquarters. And as he makes his way down the Zombies dev hallway, you can see on the right that there was a chalkboard on the right, and in the top right looked like a brand new ray gun. Mark II came out a few years ago in Black Ops 2, so of course we assumed this was the new ray gun Mark III. The game releases and we don't see this at all in Shadows of Evil, in Der Eisendrak, Zetsubo no Shima, and it's not until Gorod Krovi that we see the ray gun Mark III, but it doesn't look anything like this design. So could this have been a cancelled ray gun Mark III, maybe a ray gun Mark IV? This is something that Treyarch themselves have never ever explained in the 9 years since this video released. But at the start of 2024, it seems a lot of NDAs that ex-developers had with Treyarch and Activision finally expired, which allowed them to release details and documents of the development of these games that we have never seen before. And on your screen now is the elusive photo of this blackboard in all its high-definition glory, allowing us to see for the very first time what exactly this was. Straight up, I think this is the coolest looking ray gun design that we have ever seen, really giving off a futuristic ray gun vibe, almost like something you'd see out of Toy Story. Just from seeing that alone, it doesn't really give a great time frame on when this was created and what game it was created for, because just because we saw this during Black Ops 3 doesn't mean that it was designed for Black Ops 3. So let's scan further around the blackboard and see what else we can work out, and we can see that over in the middle left there is the diagram of the side profile of, oh my god, it's the jet gun from Transit. You can see it's literally labeled jet gun underneath it, pointing where the fuel is, where the trigger is for the jet gun, and a rope that's tied around the front. And was this just a one-off mention of Transit? Absolutely not, because if we look slightly to the right, we can see a battery, and there's a label above it that says must find a way to keep zombies from getting on bus. So now this is 100% related to Transit, and if we look slightly above, we can see a chamber housing some sort of life force, which is obviously an early design for the Avogadro within the power plant, and it literally says next to it, there are rumors of a presence at the power plant, survivors tell of an electric being. Even in the bottom right, we can see the exact design that ended up being the zombie shield on Transit. If you're starting to connect all the dots together and we look back at what was in the top right of the image, this was not an early design at the ray gun Mark III. It wasn't even a ray gun that was designed for Black Ops 3 zombies. It was a futuristic ray gun designed for Black Ops 2 zombies that lived on the walls at Treyarch for multiple years. The craziest thing is that this would have been a wonder weapon that we would have seen on the Transit map. There is one specific detail on this ray gun which is absolutely massive. Now, unless you're a narrative OG that's been playing zombies since World at War / Black Ops 1, you will know that from Call of the Dead onwards, there was a huge emphasis on an alien race in the zombie storyline called the Vril-ya. Now, within real life, the Vril-ya is from an 1871 German book called The Coming Race. The Vril was some sort of superior subterranean master race who lived under the earth that were vastly superior to mankind. And these are themes that Treyarch loved and wanted to adapt into the Zombies Ether storyline during Black Ops 1. The first references to this race in Call of the Dead was the Golden Rod, which narratively was called the Vril device, and the wonder weapon of the map, the VR-11, is suspiciously close to spelling out the word Vril. Now, the Vril device was one of two very important components that Richtofen needed to complete his grand scheme and allow him to control the ether. Jumping over to Shangri-La, at the time, many conspiracy theorists for the storyline believed that the zombies on this map were based on this Vril-ya race who had lived in Shangri-La for hundreds and hundreds of years before becoming the zombies that we see on the map. Furthermore, Richtofen needed the focusing stone, which also seems to possess some sort of Vril energy, which was originally a giant meteorite infused with elements element 115. And together, both the focusing stone and the Vril generator allow Richtofen to possess the power for ethereal energy. Now, it was during Shangri-La, as mentioned, that the Vril-ya not only lived under the earth, but also lived inside Agartha. And within Agartha is a source of energy known as the Black Sun, and this emits what is known as Vril energy. And Treyarch have toyed with the idea of the Black Sun, as we see this symbol on the Crusader zombies during Origins, as well as the Crusader armor that our Origins heroes wear at the end of the cutscene. And more importantly, is on the chest of Keepers in Black Ops 3. Now, in the official timeline, we know that the Apothicans created the MPD and hid it on the moon, but it's believed that the Apothicans were able to create the MPD and other devices using the energy from the Black Sun. Now, the Vril-ya race living in Shangri-La is some sort of community conspiracy, but within the official Chronorium, we know that when Richtofen is first teleported to Shangri-La, he is worshipped by the natives of Shangri-La. But we are never given any description on who the natives are. But the last time the Vril were mentioned in COD Zombies is on the Keeper's chests. The last thing we knew was that the crazy place in Origins was a gateway to Agartha, and in there you were fighting off against Crusader zombies who were essentially there to protect the gateway. Heck of a lot of context for what I'm about to point out, but if we look at D here on this ray gun, you can see the detail Vril storage, meaning that following on from Black Ops 1 Zombies, there would have been an even bigger emphasis on this Vril-ya race and their influence on the storyline, as it would have powered this brand new ray gun. And with the idea of the Vril being a superhuman race and their energy creating the golden rod, the MPD, on paper, this wonder weapon could have been one of the strongest wonder weapons ever. From a literal standpoint of that energy being used to power the wonder weapon, it would have been absurd. Why Treyarch decided to just have the jet gun as the only wonder weapon in the map and not this incredible sounding ray gun, I genuinely would love to ask whoever made that decision, because why do you design such a fantastic looking ray gun and then decide not to create it, but then create one of the worst wonder weapons in zombies history instead? Like, this had the potential to actually 180 the transit experience to not be entirely awful. It's interesting talking point as well, because from Black Ops 2 onwards, outside of the obvious references to the Vril inside of Origins, the Vril were nowhere near as important in the storyline throughout the rest of Black Ops 2, and we've never really seen them ever mentioned ever again. It was so fascinating to take a trip down memory lane to 2012 to see in Treyarch's own heads planning all this, that it was super important that that wonder weapon itself had an emphasis on the Vril to continue on that mystery and intrigue around the involvement of them in the zombie story. This may have been an interesting video for you. It might not have been. I'd love to know your thoughts on it regardless in the comments below and via the thumbs up, especially if you want to see more videos that look at other mysteries that were unsolved or never explained or finally got an explanation like you've seen in this video.